Hi, welcome to another episode of AI in the Classroom Daily. I'm Dan Cogan-Drew, and this is a podcast devoted to helping educators make sense of AI without the hype. So today, I'm going to do something slightly different than what I've done in normal episodes. I have used AI as a thought partner to arrive at my source here, but I'm not going to use AI to develop this episode. I'm going to do a live kind of walkthrough, teardown of an experience with a tool that I just became aware of, whose author is Amelia King. And the way I came to this tool is a question I've been asking myself over the last couple of weeks as I've been developing this podcast, which is, to what extent am I guilty of surrendering my cognition to AI as I've been partnering with it in developing these episodes? It's something that has been plaguing me, and I've been a bit concerned that I've lost the thread of exactly where I begin and where the AI takes up the thread. And so I've been looking for ways to reflect on this and give myself a diagnostic. And recently in an episode, I gave myself a quiz on the content of my episodes. I've just finished my 50th this week, and I wanted to know how well I could recall, as a measure of my understanding and originality. Could I even remember the episodes that I had created, which I thankfully can, and I passed that test with flying colors. But I'm still in pursuit of understanding better where I fall on the continuum of being entirely human created and to the opposite, which is what you see on LinkedIn these days, which is entirely bot created. So I came across this tool by educator Amelia King, who works in schools and has developed a bot that is designed to offer students this kind of reflective exercise as they are working on an assignment. So what I'm going to do in this episode of AI in the Classroom Daily is walk through that tool. It's called Poe, and this is an AI usage review 2.0 version of this bot. So I'm going to just narrate a little bit of what I see in the screen, and I'm going to talk through in a kind of a teardown, a little bit of a product teardown, a little bit of a pedagogical teardown as I'm going through this. So the question I'm looking at here on the screen is, how much AI is too much? Reflect on your AI usage in academic work. The next portion says, AI usage self-assessment. This tool will help you reflect on how you're using AI in your academic work and provide personalized guidance on finding the right balance between AI assistance and your own contribution. Answer a series of questions about your AI usage to receive feedback on whether you should incorporate more human elements or could benefit from more AI support. The word personalized is spelled with an S here, and I should mention that the author is based in the UK. So here we go. I'm going to start the assessment by clicking this button. And I'm given two choices. Select your assessment type. First type, brief assessment, 7 questions, recommended for younger students. Second type, comprehensive assessment, 18 questions, recommended for older university students. So for the purpose of this short podcast, we'll try to keep this to about 10 minutes. I'm going to choose brief assessment. So let me click that. And now it says, question 1, is this work mostly your own ideas and effort with AI just helping you? And it gives me 3 answer choices. Yes, it's mostly mine, half and half, or no, AI did most of it. So again, this is for a younger audience. So I'm going to choose yes, it's mostly mine. The subject of my work here is my podcast, and I think I've done most of the framing. I've originated the ideas, and I'm asking the AI to help me synthesize, help me probe, to offer some critical feedback from different audience points of view, but I think it's mostly mine. Question 2, did you add your own thoughts and ideas that the AI couldn't come up with? Yes, lots of my ideas on the left, in the middle, a few of my ideas, and on the right, very few or none. I think lots of my ideas, I think I'm generating the content of the podcast, and I'm positioning the AI here as a producer, as a thought partner, but these are my ideas. It's pretty rare that the AI introduces a new idea that becomes part of the show. Question 3, how much of your work did AI create for you? And there's a percentage sign. Just a small part, about half, most or all of it. I would say just a small part, because I do think, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to choose about half, because I do want to sort of probe some of the boundaries here. And I want to see how it responds if I'm saying it's sort of co-equal authorship. Question 4, did you check if what the AI wrote was correct? Yes, I checked carefully. I checked some parts. I didn't really check. And clearly, this is a moment for students to reflect on the degree to which they're just sort of cognitively surrendering, cognitively more than offloading, basically just filing the work in as their own when it's not. I check carefully. This is something I spent a lot of time going over, so I'm going to choose the option on the left. How much did you change and improve the AI's writing? I changed a lot. I made some changes, kept it mostly as is. Well, in the development of the topics, that is definitely a lot of what I do, and then The AI will help me organize the structure of the podcast and the organization, the flow, the chapters, so to speak, of each of the episodes. But I often go back and forth and redo those. And then if it gives me a script, I'm going through and I'm making changes to that script. So I'll say I made some changes. Again, I'm going to fall in the middle here. Question 6 of 7. Do you understand everything in your work, even the parts AI helped with? This is a good one. Yes, all of it, most of it, not really. And so now if you're asking a younger learner, did you understand everything in your work? What does understand mean? Even for an older person like myself, what does it mean to understand is a deep question. And this is something I was spending a little time on in an earlier episode. I asked the AI to develop a 10-question quiz asking me about not so much the specifics, but the frames of a selection of my episodes with some good distractors that were plausible answers, but not the route that I chose in the episode, as a way to help me understand, like, how would I do? Do I actually understand everything that I was saying? Which is a little bit different from recall, as has been discussed in some of the articles I've been reading lately on cognition and thinking. And I did quite well. So I'm going to say, do I understand everything? Yes, I understand of it, all of it, not just on the basis of that quiz, but I really do believe I understand it. Question 7 of 7. Could AI help you make the work even better? This is sort of probing whether there's an opportunity that I may be missing as opposed to perhaps cognitively surrendering. So no, it's good as is. Maybe a little. Yes, definitely. And what's interesting here, I'll just reflect on when students are using the Newsletter writing product, which is what I've seen a lot of in classrooms, that is an opportunity that teachers give students to reflect on, do I agree? Will I use this feedback? And opening up that pathway, opening up that opportunity for students to basically say, no, I still like my work as it is. I see what the AI is saying, but no, it's good as is. That's a powerful opportunity to restore agency to students and help them understand that the AI has a voice, but it's not the only voice. At the end of the day, this is their work, and they need to claim that feedback if they really want to use it. It's not something that they should just reflexively take on. I'm going to say maybe a little. I think there's probably boundaries that I haven't tested yet, and I don't really know what it would feel like to cross them. So I'm going to say maybe it could make it a little bit better, and I should keep exploring that. All right, here's my results. So I have an AI usage assessment and a reliance score of 45, which this bot is telling me is balanced. So there's a spectrum here, and I'm falling right in the middle, which seems to be where this tool wants me to fall. Obviously, it can place me wherever it wants based on my answers, and it sends a message to me that it wants to say, quote, great job. You found a good balance between using AI and adding your own ideas. Keep using AI as a helper while making your work your own. It doesn't really say when I should use the AI or how, except to say as a helper. But we've talked a lot about the order and the sequence in which the AI is positioned and the role that it plays earlier on in the process of writing as opposed to later on. And I'm very clear that I'm going first in my use of the AI, and that's very important to me. But this tool is not so much talking to me about when it's being used, didn't really ask me about when. But again, this is for a younger user. The points it gives me here are keep checking if what the AI tells you is right. Continue adding your own voice and ideas to your work. Adding voice makes me a little bit nervous because it does sort of suggest that perhaps my voice isn't there because I've used the AI. Tell your teacher when you used AI to help you, and think about whether AI suggestions make sense before using them. Yes, I think that's a very important consideration. Now, it's going to offer me a detailed category breakdown. So what are the categories? The categories are as follows: volume, editing, ownership, verification, comprehension, refinement, and creativity. And in that order, I am using more AI down to less. So from the volume perspective, it says 88% on a 0 to 100. About half of my work is AI generated. I don't know how I feel reading that. I don't know if that's entirely true. It sort of depends on what you're defining as the work. If it's the script at the end of the podcast of what I create, yeah, that's legitimately AI generated. But the process and the work of getting there, I think, is definitely more than half of that is my own. And then by the end of it, when I get down to the last category here, where I'm using AI the least according to the tool in creativity, I should say, according to my answers that I gave to the tool, 25% of my work includes many unique personal insights. So this is a little bit of a stretch. It's obviously reading into my responses and attributing some agency and some cognition for comprehension. It says you fully understand all content in your work. Again, for a younger reader, that's important to reflect back. What does comprehension mean? A younger reader, writer, user of AI. and let them know what it thinks the meaning is of the answer that you gave to that question. So it's an interesting tool to help surface reflections. I think this may be one of the most valuable ways to broach the topic of AI and AI use is to ask students to reflect openly and honestly about the balance in their work. And then I think the level of comfort and the implications. What does it mean? In this case, it wants to tell me great job, but you can imagine that I might stray, and that this is variable by assignment. I might stray too far to one side or maybe too far to the other. Is it clear that the right place is to be in the middle, or might the right place to be fully human generated? It really depends on academic work. What does that mean? I think it's important to remember the use of the word academic here. If I were doing purely creative work, now academic work could be a personal narrative, in which case I'm not sure I would want very much of the AI presence to be felt in my writing. So I'm very interested in your interest in this tool. Is this doing real work for you, as helping you think about the way you would surface this kind of human AI balance that you're trying to achieve for yourself and trying to achieve with your students? If you haven't used this tool, would you? I'll put it in the show notes. Have you invented a tool like this? Are you having conversations? If not a tool, are you having conversations around this topic? Open and honest conversations, not even just to the point of plagiarism, but generally, where are students finding a comfortable balance in their own identity as expressed through their work and the use of AI? And how does that vary by assignment? So many interesting questions here. I would love your perspective on how much AI is too much and how you're having that conversation with your students. Please write in. Thanks for sharing the show. Appreciate everyone who's been listening. I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.